Morning, everyone. Saturday, excuse me, starting off nicely. That's good. That's what a little editing room is for. Saturday morning, getting back to zero. Glad you're here and starting the day with us. I was able to grab my guest off of a running trail, which I think is rare from what I've heard and read. This will be the first time from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock Eastern time that she's not been running. But she is the Recovery RoadRunner that I'm going to bring on, Amber. Did want to start with last night, just my update. Went to the high school football game with my son and his new bride. And I was thinking last night at the game what I would have been 2 years ago in this game. And I would have been coming into the game with my Diet Pepsi, which I still had, but that and probably beef jerky or something to try to hide my breath. Halftime, it would have been a scramble to try and get out to the car and make an excuse to get more beer. And then as the game was going on, it would be, how am I going to get home? Worried about DUIs. Do I have enough beer? My point is that last night was just freedom. I was at the game. I wasn't worried about driving home. I wasn't worried about talking people and reeking of beer. And I think I always looked at beer was my way to relax. And I'll tell you what, without alcohol, I was so much more relaxed than I've ever been last night because of all the headaches and the fears and the how am I going to get more and all the other work that goes with it. So I had a great game, great time, saw a lot of friends. Life is good. So anyways, I got another success story. I'm very excited. I ran across Amber on some Instagram and some other, and I saw the Recovery RoadRunner. So mother extraordinaire. Every picture that I found of her, she's active or about ready to. So Amber, welcome to Getting Back to Zero. How you doing this morning out in
Northern California?
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Everything I saw, you either have pictures with your kids where you're running or you're on a trail running. And then I saw you're signed up for some 221-mile run coming up.
I don't know about that. No. Maybe that was okay. We're talking about doing a relay run. Yes, that's what you're talking about.
Because I've seen in Northern California growing up out there where they had those 100-mile runs through the Sierras.
Yeah, no, that's a bucket list type of a run for me. I haven't gone there yet.
What's your longest?
Marathon, 26.2. I've done about 15 of those.
And your best time?
3:33.
You broke, man. I had a buddy that was trying to break the 4. I don't know if he did or not, but that's smoking fast.
Yeah, I mean, that was in my early 20s when I was just a little spring chicken. So now I'm trying to beat 4. So
got to come out to Cincinnati. We have the Flying Pig Marathon.
Okay.
We're running it later this month. That's actually one of the bigger runs. It's growing in popularity. Well, anyways, welcome, Amber. I'm so glad you're here. Let's just start. Like I've said before, how did you end up on a sobriety support show?
Well, I started running when I was 14 and I started drinking when I was 15. So for me, those two are closely linked. I think I was a much better drinker than I was a runner, to be honest with you. Ever since I took my first drink at 14, it was just like, man, this is it. This is what I need.
What did it give you? What did it give you?
Courage, confidence. When I was in high school is when I started drinking with my softball friends. It just relieved that social anxiety. I just always felt so awkward around people, so nervous. Like, oh, I can't talk to that person, or they're cool, or high school's so hard.
Right. Oh, so yeah.
For me, it relieved all of that pressure. So I don't know. It just clicked with me when I was 14.
I don't think I talked to a girl without alcohol in my system.
Yeah.
Probably till I was married.
That's right.
There was no way. So typical partying high schooler days.
Well, yeah, I was always an athlete. So I ran cross country in high school and I also played softball. I was probably a better softball player than a runner. So, I mean, what did I do? So I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting a little nervous. I'm going to
No,
take a
you're
deep
good.
breath.
You're good. So high school, you were the social drinker. Just everything was
Yeah.
fun, and then college.
Um, well, back to high school, I mean, I was the varsity athlete. So I was on the varsity cross country team, I was on the varsity softball team, I was around all the older kids. And that's really how I got introduced to alcohol was from the varsity softball players. And they just took me to parties. And I thought I could have the best of both worlds.
You got to
You
be a
know,
little
I
bit of
was
an older kid and hang with the.
Yeah, I was the freshman hanging with the juniors and the seniors, and I thought it was really cool. And
Yeah.
like I said, I was on the varsity cross country team, I was on the varsity softball team, and I was an intense athlete. But at the same time, I was binge drinking every Friday and Saturday night. So I had very conflicting feelings about it. I was like, well, I really love to party. So, I mean, it's really fun to hang out with this crowd and, meet the boys and everything. But I
Plus, you're
really love,
running. You're running, so you're justifying it.
yeah, but I really love to run. And I've been playing softball since I was 4. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop doing the varsity softball running thing.
Mhm.
So, I had to balance the boozing and the running and the softball from a very early age. So to me, it was just normal. But interestingly enough, I would be running with my team and my coach, and I would have to stop off the trail and puke. I mean, nasty, right? They thought
Mhm.
I was just pushing myself too hard.
Right. Right.
But I
That
know it's because I've been boozing all weekend. I still have alcohol in my system. But nobody knew because I didn't party with my runner friends. I partied with my softball friends. So nobody knew. My parents didn't know. It was only a small group of people that I hung with that knew that I was drinking so much. It was
did
very
you ever
secret.
did you ever drink alone at that point?
No,
I was
no.
looking back. The only reason I ask is I remember the AM PM. I think it was Arco stations. If you remember, if they even
Uh
have those
huh.
AM PM out in California. I remember the night underage in an apartment. So just out of high school. The first 12 pack of Bud bottles I bought. The first night I remember the first night I drank alone, and from then on, I mean, I drank socially, but
Hmm.
from the start, I like to drink alone.
I didn't have access to it because I was so young. My parents didn't have alcohol in the house. So I needed a party situation to get my hands on it.
Was it a forbidden fruit in your family?
No, my parents just didn't drink back then. They do now.
My
So it
reason I it was forbidden fruit for me. So when I got free, I went nuts. My wife,
mm,
she was raised with whatever. If you want to drink, just don't drive and be smart about it. And when she got to college, when we met, I remember just I'm free. Do you want to go? You want to go out? And she was like, well, maybe later. It was no big deal to her. And I
yeah.
think that there's a little bit of that forbidden fruit because I was suddenly when I got out of free from the parental lockdown,
Well, I
I
think a
I
little
went
bit
nuts.
maybe for me it was because I was always training so hard as an athlete. I mean, competitive softball since I was 10. I was doing travel ball. I was traveling across the country and practicing for 3 or 4 hours a day. So, I was kind of locked down into softball. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was to relieve some of that pressure and just be a kid. I think looking back, that's a little bit what it was. But like I said, nobody knew I was drinking in high school. In fact, when I was a sophomore and I just got my license, I went about an hour away to Berkeley to a party with my friend, and we partied through the night, and then we decided to drive to Jack in the Box, and I volunteered to drive. I was totally drunk and dumb, and I crashed my car. So the police officer on the scene, he didn't know. He didn't question. My dad came. He didn't know. He didn't question. So I'm doing all of these dumb things with no consequences. So that should have been a wake-up call, right? It wasn't. I was too young. And I thought, well, I'm getting away with it. Obviously, what I'm doing isn't that bad. Nobody knows. So I made it my mission to keep it a secret.
I want to hear more of your story, but obviously you're fairly young, and to quit drinking at a younger age is got to be so tough. I was in my 50s to quit because the pressures. I mean, everyone. It's the look at the commercials for a runner. Every commercial I see with a runner, they finish with a Mick Ultra.
I know.
They celebrate. It's just like we've been doing some weddings in the family. Weddings used to be a celebration of the bride and groom. Now weddings are a party, and the bride and groom are there. Wedding is associated with alcohol. It became that way.
Oh, yeah.
Running and health. I mean, fitness is now associated. You work out so that you can be at the bar drinking your Mick Ultra or your sparkling, whatever it is.
I know.
It's tied in. That's part of, you work out so that you can go to the bar and reward yourself.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
crazy how it's
sad.
marketed. It's brilliant.
I used to do that for many, many, many years, for decades. I ran 20 miles so I could go eat and drink whatever I wanted. And after I would finish my half marathons and marathons, all I wanted was a glass of wine or a 6-pack of beer. But now I just finished a marathon last month, and they gave me a bottle of wine and a ticket to the beer fest. And it just makes me shake my head. I wish they wouldn't do that, I wish they would give out Jamba Juice or Starbucks instead of beer and wine at the finish line, because drinking alcohol after an endurance race like that is the worst thing you can do for your body.
It is a drug. Alcohol, it's a poison when you look at it. At that point I didn't care, but when you finish the finish line, no one's going to hand you some crack. No one's going to say, hey, congratulations, here's a syringe of heroin. That would be completely wrong. But here's alcohol, which is it's a class of, it is a drug. That's okay. That's encouraged.
It's completely normalized. And to answer your first question, that's why I'm here. I want to change that. I want to organize some of my own races around here, the Bay Area, and offer Starbucks and Jamba Juice at the finish line, and remove the stigma around alcoholism or alcohol use disorder, so.
So when did alcohol, I'm assuming then go on to college, or what was what was the progression?
I got a full ride softball scholarship to Baylor and moved to Texas. Unfortunately for me, I went there mostly to party. So I didn't take my softball days very seriously in college. I wanted to meet new friends and go to the next bar, and the practices were twice a day, and they were really cramping my style, to be honest with you. So I lost my scholarship after 1 year. A series of things happened. I got into a car accident and I busted my shoulder. So I literally couldn't play anymore. But at the same time, the coach kicked me off the team. I was not doing good. Drinking.
The drinking was affecting your performance, your mental, as well as your physical.
I gained about 20 pounds my freshman year. I was exhausted all the time. I mean, I worked my entire life to get to where I was on that softball team, Division 1 softball team, and I totally blew it. Totally blew it away by boozing so hard.
I I don't know what I could have done football wise. I had a good college career, but if I had spent a fourth of the time that I did at the bar in the gym, lifting or whatever, what could have been, I'll always wonder. But
Yeah.
I was, as soon
Yeah.
as, I worked out as minimal as I had to make the coaches happy, and then we were straight to the bars,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
who knows.
well, after I lost my softball scholarship, I really started running a lot more. So I started running half marathons, and then I ran my first marathon when I was 19. So I thought, oh, this is fun. This is awesome. Great way to meet people, traveling around to different cities and states. I went to Hawaii for my first marathon. So I started the long distance running when I was 19 years old, and I was hooked. But it's like you said, the finish line party at the end of these races is a party. It's all about the beer and the wine. So I was celebrating. I was still trapped in the illusion that I could have it all. So I was running marathons and binge drinking. Half the time I was running and half the time I was binge drinking. And it never occurred to me that there was a problem. I knew I was hungover and I knew I didn't feel good. But then, you start running and eventually your hangover goes away and you're like, oh, I don't feel so bad. So it just never really occurred to me until much later in my life that maybe I should stop drinking. I mean, it took me 25 years of teaching myself some pretty hard lessons to come to that conclusion.
The justification, and for you it was running. Um, for
Mhm.
some people it might be work, a hard day's work. Some people it might be taking care of the kids, and when they get to bed, now I'm justified. I mean, we look for any reasons, justification. Um, the sad days for me was when I had no justification. It was just get up and on the
Mhm.
couch, and those were hard. But if I could get a justification, hey, I'm clear to do this. I earned this,
Yeah.
which was
I didn't
crazy.
really I can see what you're saying. I always felt justified. It wasn't hard to convince myself that I had worked hard enough to have a bottle of wine or
Hmm.
two.
So when did things say I've got to make a change here?
When I got pregnant. So it was well after college, well into my career. I teach second grade. But it wasn't until I got pregnant that I had to stop and finally look at my actions and my drinking. So, I realized I'm pregnant. I was so happy. I was trying to get pregnant. And then I was like, well, wait a second. I'm going to have to slow down on the drinking. I'm going to have to stop drinking. How am I going to stop drinking? So I did stop drinking for a while. And then I would still have, I'm not even going to lie, this is really embarrassing to say, but I would have a glass of wine throughout my pregnancy, like 2 or 3 times a week. My doctor said it was fine.
Everything. My wife's a nurse, and I stand by that. Um,
What do you mean by that?
I don't think that's a problem. I think and I obviously I'm not going to encourage anyone. If you're going to do that, I'm saying it right here because I'm not talked to your doctor, but from what I've heard, that is not the problems come when it's abused. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But still I can
Well,
see, you know what amazes me
well,
though, Amber, is that people that women, when they get pregnant, can quit, because I don't know. That's impressive to me.
I
Uh,
know. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was panicking when I got pregnant. I was telling my husband, I was like, well, do you think I can still drink a little bit of wine? Let's ask the doctor. Because I was not ready to let it go. I did not want to let it go. I was like, wine is my best friend. I drink every single day. So let's ask the doctor because my cousin is a nurse and she said it was fine. So I asked my doctor, I said, hey, and I was really embarrassed to even ask, but I
Mm-hmm.
asked him and I said, is it okay if I just drink a little bit of wine throughout the pregnancy? And he said, yes. He said, just don't drink too much, measure out 1 glass and don't drink more than one per day. So when my doctor told me that, I was happier than a clam. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, I don't have to give up my wine. I mean, if that's not alcoholism, I don't know what is. I couldn't even let it go when I was pregnant. And nobody questioned it.
Mm-hmm.
My husband didn't think I had a problem. My friends didn't think I had a problem. My parents didn't think I had. Everyone was like, okay, doctor
How
said,
how how
let's do
tough
it.
is it for you to have 1 glass of wine and stop?
That's hilarious. It's impossible. I can't do it.
How
Well,
how did
okay,
you how did you do that in pregnancy? Just white knuckle it?
because okay, it's not impossible. I didn't like it, but I was pregnant and I took that very seriously.
Right.
I
Okay.
didn't
Well,
want
no,
to give
that's to
my
understand. So because
I'll
that's
take back
that's
my first answer. Because I was pregnant, I set a hard limit on my drinking because
Mhm.
I was not going to give my kids fetal alcohol syndrome.
Right.
I mean, that I was very serious about that and I was still feeling guilty about even having one.
Hmm.
So, it's only because I was pregnant and I didn't want to
Did you
ruin my
look at
kids.
the 9 months as the finish line, and you would be once the baby was born,
Oh, I
we
sure
can we
did.
we can celebrate and let it loose on that.
Oh, I sure did. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. But even then, I was still nursing. So I
Hmm.
still had to limit my drinking. I mean, I had to time it right so that I could drink and then let several hours go by to let it get out of my system so I could nurse my baby. I mean, it was still all about the
It is a
drinking.
juggling act.
It was still all about the drinking. Yeah, it
I mean,
was a lot of work.
we think it's giving us a benefit, but when you look at all the work that you did, the suffering, it's so for me, I could with the accountability, I could have a beer with my family and have no more because they'd be around me and they would hold me to that. I'd be miserable. I would hate
Mhm.
life.
I know.
It's I'm I if I don't drink, I'm great. To have one, okay, you hit a switch, and
I
now
know.
I'm physically gonna. My day's ruined if I can't continue.
Yeah. Well, after I had kids, I would, I would have to drive them around, obviously. So then, after work, I would have my wine or two, but then I have to drive somewhere. So I'm like, shoot, now I have to wait like an hour, drink a lot of water. Am I safe to drive the kids? Oh, I think I'll risk it. Um, so I was still trying to minimize the amount of wine I was drinking to be safe around my kids. And then after I was done driving, I was like, okay, now finally I can have as much as I want, right? But pretty soon after I had my second baby, I realized like this isn't working anymore. I'm hungover all the time. I'm exhausted, right? Babies keep you up all night. So I was just burning the candle at both ends, totally exhausted. And that's when I really started to tell myself, well, maybe instead of slowing down on the booze, I should just stop drinking altogether.
What was the thought of telling yourself never drink again? How'd that make you feel?
Scared, terrified, um, terrible. I didn't think I could do it. I mean, it was just kind of a, well, maybe I should quit drinking. I'm worried about it all the time. The kids are little and they need me. Um, yeah, it was kind of just a thought in the back of my mind. And then it wouldn't stay very long. I would always just say, no, we're just going to slow down on the drinking. We're just going to make some rules. Like maybe I'll just drink on the weekends, or maybe I'll just never have more than 3 glasses of wine. So that's when I started introducing the rules into my life, right? Everybody, I know you're
Oh yeah.
laughing.
Oh God, yeah. I've got
We all
lists
make
of
the
them.
rules. I
The
started
hour
making some
thing.
rules.
Watching the clock, 3, 2, 1. So I could grab it. Just what a lifestyle.
I
So
know.
what I guess, because I'm always looking. So what was alcohol giving you, and what was life without it? And I think I know the answer of what you're doing now to get it. But what was so bad? And I don't know if I'm not picking on you. That it's is because my life, there was a lot of really great things. I wasn't an abused situation. I had a great marriage. Why did I need to drink a case of beer? What was so bad? And I'm trying to analyze that with myself. So what were
Well,
you needing?
I had a lot going on, to be honest. I had to, I'm a second grade teacher. It's a very stressful job. I was in a marriage that was falling apart. So I was only married for 4 years. Met my husband. We got married after a year. We got pregnant pretty quickly. And we had 2 kids back to back. They're 17 months apart. So stressful job, unhappy marriage, 2 small kids under the age of 2.
Bingo,
And
bingo, bingo.
and my stress levels are through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting with my husband all the time. At that point, I already knew I wanted out of the marriage. He did not want out of the marriage. So I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to leave this marriage and still keep my kids and keep a roof over our heads? So I was freaking out. I was just finding comfort in the wine glass. I mean, that's when my drinking really, really amped up. But at the same time, I was trying so hard to limit myself because I had a job and I had the 2 kids under 2. I had all this responsibility. So you can't call in sick to work, and you can't call in sick to watching your 2 toddlers. Right. So all the responsibility, I was trying really, really hard to keep it all together. But I made the decision to end the marriage. And I mean, actually, I thought about it for about 2 years before I decided to end the marriage. And that was the hardest decision of my life, because I didn't know where me and my kids would end up, if, how the custody would be, where we would live, how financially it would all come together. But it was not a happy marriage. We didn't really have much in common. We just fell in love. And I mean, it all surrounded the drinking, though. I mean, when I met him, it was all wine tasting and dinners with martinis, and it was all wining and dining and heavy boozing. We were never together and not drinking. Never, ever, ever. We were always drinking, having fun. Just, I don't know. It's just really hard to describe, but it was all surrounding the booze. And then we were like, yeah, this is great. This relationship is awesome. We had the fitness thing in common. I mean, he's a gym rat. He's like the bodybuilder type. So kind of opposite of me, but still fitness.
I'm not growling. I got Billy here is saying hello. I'm sorry. If you thought I had gas, that was the dog howling.
But I made the decision to leave the marriage, and I made the decision to quit drinking on the same day.
At the same time, really?
At the same time, I just had enough. I had enough stress. I had enough feeling terrible, being trapped in this marriage, trapped in this life that I didn't want for myself. I saw a better future for me and my kids, and I wanted out, and I wanted out now. So I
See,
made
I
it
thought you were
happen.
going to say that now you were the booze went from calming your nerves or the situation to celebrating because you were out of it. I thought that's where you were going to go with it.
Well,
That's where I would have thought, hey, it's the new life. Let's celebrate.
yeah, I just, if I didn't have kids, I would have gone there. But the kids
Right.
made me stop and reflect. I didn't want that life for me or my kids. I just saw better for us. I knew alcohol was holding me back. I knew it wasn't serving me anymore. I wanted to be a great mom to the kids, and I knew I was going to be a single mom. And
Did you
I
have anyone?
knew, I just knew life was about to get even harder. So I told myself, Amber, stop doing what you're doing. You don't have to punish yourself. You don't have to live hungover. I mean, there's got to be a better way than being hungover every day. This is getting ridiculous.
I am so big on support, community. There's another word I'm blanking on, but doing this with others. Did you have
Hmm.
anyone that gets it? Did you have anyone to talk to during those times?
Yes and no. Um, yes, from my church. I went to church since I was a little girl, and I started going to Celebrate Recovery. First I started going to MOPS, which is Moms of Preschoolers. It's just a group for moms, and the kids play, and we do arts and crafts and talk about marriage and this and that. But I met a girl in MOPS who introduced me to Celebrate Recovery. And for those of you who don't know, Celebrate Recovery is for anybody who struggles with hurts, habits, and hangups. It could be alcoholism, drugs, overeating, gambling, porn addiction. I mean, codependency, anger issues. It doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol, but everybody comes together and, they worship, and we get a message from the preacher, and it's a really, really great community. And that's where I found my strength and my comfort to quit drinking, was at Celebrate Recovery, because nobody in my life thought I had a problem with alcohol. They didn't see it. They didn't think I was drinking too much. And when I told them that I wanted to stop drinking, they were not happy about it, because they just didn't see it. I told my parents, and they were like, quit drinking. Why? Just slow down a little bit. And I said, why? Well, because it's not serving me anymore. I'm hungover all the time. I'm tired. I can't drive my kids around. They're like, well, can't you just have one or two? And I'm like, no, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
If I have one, I'm going to drink an entire bottle of wine and then open another. Like, I can't, I have no off switch. I
Mm-hmm.
can't have one. I'm never going to have one or two. It's just going to leave me feeling mad and frustrated to know I can only have one or two. Um,
Yeah,
and they were
it's
like,
it's
they didn't get it. My parents didn't get it, because I told you, when I was growing up, they didn't drink. But as I got older, the past 10 years or so, my mom started getting a lot of anxiety, and her doctor actually told her to start having a glass of wine every night. And guess what? That glass of wine every night that she has turned into two or three
mm-hmm.
or four. So I've seen it escalate in her too. She wouldn't want me to tell you that.
I
But
got I was crushed with anxiety. People that know me know my story, but panic attacks and anxiety, and I dumped alcohol on it because it worked at that moment, but it also fueled and made the anxiety worse the next day. I didn't realize that for
mhm.
30 years I poured fuel on that fire,
Yeah,
thinking I was
yeah,
putting it out, and um, that was a major cause of it, of my
yeah.
anxiety was the drinking.
Well, when I quit drinking, I felt completely alone. I felt like I was doing it alone. I wasn't going to talk to my husband about it, because we were not on good terms. I told him, although, I was still trying. So I did tell him a few times, I'm going to stop drinking. I think I'm going to stop drinking so I can, run faster marathons. And he was like, okay, so you're going to cut back on drinking. But he didn't like that, Jeff, because for him, when I was drinking, I was the happy Amber, the fun Amber, the
Yeah.
one who was going to give him what he wanted from me, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
That's a great point. But I don't want, if I'm drinking, I don't want to be not. I want you as my wife drinking too.
I know, but
Because
you know
now
what's
we're having fun
interesting?
together. If you're not drinking, you're just watching me, judging me, scrutinizing me. I can't.
Yes,
It's everything. You destroy my drinking by you quitting.
totally, totally. But my husband, ex-husband, he never drank. He never drank at home. I was the only one drinking. But when I was drinking, I was nicer to him. I let my guard down. I wasn't angry at him. I was, and that's why I drank, was to be able to be in the same room with him. I had to drink to be around him at that point. But when I stopped drinking, I started pulling away. I wasn't as nice to him. I wasn't giving him what he wanted. So I told him, I'm not drinking anymore. I don't want it in the house. And he would come home with a case of wine. He would buy all my favorite wine, open it up, and pour it for me. He was literally not allowing me to quit drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, this has to stop. Of course, I would drink it because somebody gives you a glass of
Oh
wine,
yeah.
you're going to drink it. So he sabotaged my efforts to quit for many, many, many months. I was so ticked because I would get a week or two of sobriety and then he would give me the wine and then I would drink it. And I'm like, this really sucks. This is just one more reason why I have to get out of here, because even my husband doesn't understand me. I mean, at that point, I had already made up my mind that I was going to quit drinking. And I told him how serious I was and that I wanted his help. He wouldn't help me. He refused. And then not only that, but I'm pretty close to my parents. They live here in town and they help me watch my kids. Um, like I said, they were 1 and 2 at the time. So they were helping me watch my kids throughout the week as I went to work. So they were always over at my house. I was always over at their house. They have wine and whiskey and beer over there. And so I was still around all of the boozing, which was really, really hard for me to be around in my earliest days of sobriety. And I told them that I was going to quit drinking and they were like, "No, just slow down, just have 1 or 2." They weren't getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to white knuckle it. I felt alone, unsupported, misunderstood, like the outcast. I just felt lost and confused. And then I questioned, why am I even doing this? Nobody thinks I have a problem except for me. Maybe the problem isn't so bad. So I was back and forth, and it was for many years that I was feeling conflicted about, should I quit drinking? Should I not quit drinking? It was a mess.
The everything around me was, you got to quit. No one said just slow down. I think it was I think they all knew that slowing down is not going to work. So it was this is it.
Yeah.
We got to you got to stop this thing because it's just not working, and bad things are going to start happening if you keep this up.
And
So
that's
I didn't have
hard.
the enabling that you had to face. But
Well, that's hard in
did
its
you
own
have
right.
did you have any program, or did you just, this was Amber's program, I'm quitting? Did you, the
So,
recovery group you were talking about, was there anything there for support?
yeah, so I started going to Celebrate Recovery every Wednesday night, and they hand out chips. So I got my newcomer chip, and then I got my 30-day chip. And once I got to 30 days, I was like, yeah, I made it. And then I got my 60-day chip. But I was relapsing. And so I'd get 30 days and then drink. And then I'd get 60 days and then drink, because it was still around me with my mom bringing her wine over and, the parties. This was before COVID. So it was still all around me.
But what was Amber, the, and I'm not picking because I'm the same way. But what, just because it was there, you weren't forced to drink. What was inside? Why were you drinking at 30 and 60 days? Just, I mean,
Um,
I would not think just because it's in the house, oh, there it is.
well,
I'm done. I can't stop now. But
because I was still trying to convince myself that the problem wasn't as bad as I thought it
okay.
was. I was still trying to convince myself I could moderate. I was like, well, I can go 60 days without drinking. Like maybe I'm okay now. Maybe I'm fixed,
Maybe,
right?
yeah, I
Maybe I can
gotcha.
moderate. And so I would try moderation and realize that that doesn't work. I mean, I had to really push the limits. I just had to know, can I moderate? Maybe I can still drink. I wasn't ready to let it go. And then there was times, I mean, birthday parties, holidays, Christmas. I remember one time I had like 65 days and then it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas. And
Mhm.
I was like, well, it's a major holiday. Like, I have to drink. How
Yep.
can I not drink? I have like this fancy wine sitting over here. Or, I mean, I remember my son's birthday party. I had all my friends over and it was a great time. And I think I went like 2 hours into that party, just avoiding the booze. But then somebody poured like a round of shots for everybody. And I just said, fuck it.
Hmm.
I can't resist anymore. It was too much. Like, I was just very conflicted about I wanted to quit. I racked up 60 days, but then I would just have a fuck it moment.
Hmm.
I just wasn't ready to let it go, you know? I mean, I tried for about probably 4 years before it finally stuck. I was
What
counting
what
the days.
what changed?
My mindset changed. It's because, I mean, I knew what I wanted and I wanted to stop drinking. And for a while there, I
But you're
didn't
still going
think,
to have the fuck it days. You're still going to have
mhm,
someone pouring you shots. You're still going to
yeah.
get cut off in traffic. You're still going to have that parent chewing you out about their 2-year-old kid that
Mhm.
for something.
Well, what changed was I stopped telling myself I couldn't do it and I started having my own back. So I started telling myself, like, look, this person has done it. This person has done it. These people around me, they're all sober. Like, people can do it. I started following people on Facebook and Instagram who were celebrating 1 year, 2 year. I just changed my mindset. I said, under no circumstance am I going to drink. I just made it a hard rule. I started writing the number of days sober on my hand in Sharpie to
Hmm.
remind myself. I started hanging notes around my kitchen. I removed all the booze from the house. I had serious conversations with all of my friends and family. I said, look, I've been trying to quit drinking for 2 years and I'm going to make it happen and I need your help. So I had to be really honest with people about what my intent was. And I said, do not offer me a drink. If you see me drinking or, going to the store, like, I want you to slap me across the face. Like, I'm serious about this. This is not a
Hmm.
joke. Like, I need your help. So I reached out for help. What else did I do? I joined a group on Facebook that, it's a small group. There's like 30 people in it. It has a really strong leader. And I started attending meetings online once a week and interacting with this sober community. So the meetings
How
really
important is
helped.
that?
Very important. It's because, I mean, I felt so alone, right? Nobody understood me. Nobody thought I had a problem except for me. I felt so alone. So I had to look for people somewhere out there. Somebody has to understand what I'm going through. And I found these people on Facebook. Um, and it's very, very important. I mean, you can't do it alone. You have to make some sober friends and see who's out there. You have to have the conversations with people who get it. And that's why I started Recovery Roadrunners, because I found these two groups. I found CR and I found the other Facebook group, but I still felt like, where's all the sober people at? There's nobody in my town. None of my friends are sober. Like, I mean, is there anybody out there that is like me that's sober? I mean, there's got to be some runners who have quit drinking. And I mean, I started doing a little research, and you would be surprised how many marathoners and ultra marathoners are in recovery. I mean, it's like 40-50% of the
It's
field.
interesting because the stat I had heard was the CrossFit people that are that the aerobic, they do everything, and that there is a high number of that too, because
Hmm.
trading the obsession to alcohol becomes the
Hmm.
obsession to run or to exercise, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
So
interesting that you said that.
yeah. So I was like, where are these sober people at? Like, I need a community of like-minded people who get me. Like, I want to start this thing. Like, where's all my runner friends at? I know there's some sober runners out there. Like, where are they? So I started a group on Facebook called Recovery RoadRunners. And for a couple months, there was like 5 people in the group. I was like, will you please join my group? Will you please join it? And then, I started going on to these sober groups like the Luckiest Club or like Sober Moms or whatever, and just talking to some of these women and men. And I was like, hey, join my Facebook group. So now there's like 500 something runners. And I mean, we all have so much in common. I mean, some of these people are now my best friends. We do the weekly meetings. We do the virtual runs together. I mean, we just get it. It's like I finally found my community of people who get it. And I mean, that was the whole point, right? Because I'm like, where are these people? I have no one to talk to. Like, I have no one to talk to about what I'm going through. Like, wouldn't it be nice if I could just call somebody up and be like, hey, let's go running, and they were another sober person? Like, that would be my dream come true. So I've got this Recovery Roadrunners thing going on, and people just love it. It's growing so big. And so my intention with this group is to actually start coaching, because not only do I want to bring us together as like-minded runners, sober runners, but I want to help those people who are where I was at 5 years ago, who felt like I can't quit drinking, like nobody gets me. I want to help people get sober and start a new running program. So, I mean, those are my two passions. So, I'm working on some running coach certifications at the moment so I can have some of that under my name. But that's what I'm working on now.
Couple of questions. When you told people about that you were stopping, and were pretty clear about it, what do you say when that friend goes, oh come on, it's we're at this wedding here, just toast with old time's sake, just you know what, everyone's getting together, we just do one shot, we're going to do a jello shot, what do you say? Because that's, I have, people have gone down because of that,
Yeah,
I
I
have gone
know.
down because of that. I laugh at a buddy of mine when I had quit years ago, attempted. I think I had a couple weeks. Within 3 seconds, he got me to drink a beer. It was pathetic. So how do you handle? Oh, come on, Amber. Just
Well,
we're doing one shot. The girls are all together. She
okay,
just got married. We're gonna celebrate. Just one
I
old
know.
time.
Well, first, I would say in the first year of sobriety, you have to avoid situations like that altogether. I mean, it's going to be hard to say no to your friend's wedding, but say no because your sobriety is more important. I mean,
So
sorry. If you have to, don't even
don't
go
go to a
there.
friend's wedding.
Don't go there. Hurt somebody's feelings. Say, "Sorry, I can't go to your birthday party. Sorry, I'm not going to your Christmas party. No, I'm not going out to this dinner." Just don't even go there until you feel stronger, because people will try to convince you to go against your wishes, and it's just too easy. So just don't even go there. Don't put yourself in that situation. I think you would just
The
have to
peer
make.
pressure is hard, Amber.
I
I mean, all
know.
my friends are going, "Come on."
Just say
I
no.
it's
Just
hard. I'm just saying, yeah, it's a
I think
bitch.
I think the answer is to just avoid all of those social events that are going to tempt you for a year. I'm telling you, it's for me that year I was in lockdown in COVID. So that was like a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
However, it could have gone the other way because I was at home in lockdown. I could have been drinking around the clock if I wanted to, and nobody
Right.
would have known or cared. But I say, don't go to the social event. Skip it. Say you can't go. Say you're sick. Say you already have plans. Just don't go. Stay home.
And then the next question I had is, I don't run. I'm not in a running group. I'm just every day. How do I find these people? Because all my friends and family drink. How do I get that support group? Because I don't, I'm not a runner. I don't really do anything.
So,
How do I find that group?
how do you find your sober group?
Yep.
I would go on Facebook. There's groups all over the place. Just type in sober men's group or sober women's group and start there. Just join a sober group on Facebook and then join another one. And that's how you're going to get started. I mean, I started with 1 year no beer. Have you heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
It's a good one. 1 year no beer. It's a group on Facebook, and they also have a book to get you through your first 28 days. The book is amazing. I think it was the 28 day, I can't remember what it's called, 28 day something. But it's like a chapter for every day. It's just like 4 or 5 pages. It's easy to read, but it gets you through your first 28 days sober. That book saved me, and that group, just groups on Facebook saved me. So
You talked earlier about being and thank you for letting me drill you with these questions, because I know I'm throwing these picking on you, but
keep them coming.
that you talked about Friday and Saturday were your nights.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're new in recovery, I got Friday night coming up. How did you get through it? What's your advice to get through those first couple of tough ones?
Okay, well, you have to replace your habits with new habits. So for me, it was okay, I can't be inside the house because my kitchen reminds me of where the wine and the beer live. So stay out of the kitchen and go outside. Go for a walk your dog, walk with your kids, go to the park. Just go outside and leave the kitchen during your witching hours. Um, get your body moving. Like start a new yoga program, or like I said, walking or running program. Um, do something different. Take a shower. Like you have to just do something different. Start a new routine. Another thing I did was I started listening to recovery podcasts, and I started doing a lot of reading, memoirs on addiction. Um, I just really dove full into the sober community with everything, books, podcasts.
Any books or podcasts that you recommend?
Annie Grace, for
This
sure.
Naked
This
Mind.
Naked Mind, and also her podcast is amazing. I'm also a really big Rich Roll fan. He's an ultra runner. He's been sober for over 15 years. He has a book, Finding Ultra, and he always has super cool, smart, amazing guests on his show. It's the Rich Roll podcast. And then also another group I'm part of is Shout Sobriety, and his podcast is Sober and Unashamed. So there's a few right there, but
I have I'm very big on planning and distractions, but I know that at the end of the day, I've got all this built up angst and I'm ready to blow my top. And the only way I knew how to do it, but you laugh, but I have one of these in the truck, and it's just right now I am burning energy.
mhm,
I'm releasing tension out of my body.
there you go.
And this is release. So
And
I
that's
keep
what running is for me.
right. That's what I was going to say.
Hmm.
You're getting, you're emptying the crap out of your system by
Yeah.
getting it out. But I do believe talking gets it out as well.
Mhm. So yeah, and that's, yep, you said it. It's about, burning that energy, staying busy. Like I always have a coffee or a sparkling water in my hand. I have something like tasty and healthy to drink, like lemon water, whatever. I spend a lot of time outside. I'll take my kids and yeah, there you go.
Sparkling water.
Go to the park and, get your steps in, lift some weights, swim or hike or do something with your body to make yourself stronger and make yourself feel good. Um, you know, Running gives you the endorphins and it just makes you feel so good. Once you start walking and running, you can't stop. I mean, I've been doing it, like I said, since I was 14, but since I got sober, man, I'll run twice a day. I'll run 3 times a day if I have time. I mean,
I'm
some
doing the
say,
I
like,
started,
aren't you just replacing your addiction with another addiction? And I'm like, well, it's not really an addiction, but even if it was, like, this is healthy for me.
but you know what? Here's the thing. When people say that, um, we eat, we choose what food. We don't eat just vitamins. We eat the foods we choose because we like them and they make us feel better. It's
Mhm.
still, you can say addiction, but it's things that make you feel better. Alcohol made me feel better. Now, um, yoga makes me feel better. I just started doing that, which my kids just laugh and ask Dad, where'd you find the 2X leotards? But it's really helping me, and walking and doing whatever. And I like to, get outside and hike around. Um,
Mhm.
that's all. But uh, uh, addiction, we're all addicted to something. Whether I'm
Mhm.
addicted to family, I'm addicted to whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with addiction as long as it's not destructive,
Right.
and it doesn't have to
Right.
be a poison. I mean, porn, shopping, those are addictions that are destructive. I don't,
Mhm.
we some people are addicted to watching TV at night.
Yeah. Yeah. And for people out there listening who are like, "Oh, I hate running. I've never been a runner." Start with walking.
Hmm.
Maybe you're not going to be a runner. Maybe you're going to be a walker or a hiker. It doesn't matter how fast you go or how many miles you go, just go. It doesn't matter if you're walking a 20 or 25-minute mile. Just go walking around your neighborhood, soak up some sunshine, get your body moving, and see how good you feel. It's not about how fast or how far, it's just about getting outside and getting moving. It really is. It'll
Well, it's
change your
also
whole
it's getting
perspective.
at a when I get home at 5, if I'm just sitting there, my mind is going to destroy me. The
Exactly.
distraction thing, and get out. And I also believe, I talked about this with another group, but I look at how I drank at 5 o'clock. Let's just say, now I started this, we could say 5 a.m., but I'm just saying I started much earlier, but at a typical, let's go 5 o'clock. The days that I drank, I probably didn't have a great day at work, could have worked harder, uh, might not have been showered, might be wearing crummy clothes, might not have exercised. I had no worth from the day. There was nothing I risked losing by drinking. Everything was
Mhm.
already a negative. So when I have a day where, I'm showered, I got clothes on, I work my butt off at work, I come home and I exercise, I do whatever. I don't want to lose that. I've got that. That's good. I don't want to throw it
Yeah.
away now. I've got something I don't want to lose by drinking. So putting myself in the position, so at 5 o'clock I got a better chance of saying no, and
Mhm.
also distraction by getting out and
Mhm.
moving around, breaking the habit, I think is huge.
So there's a simple solution for that. So just sign up for a local 5K. I mean, anybody and everybody can do a 5K. You could walk the whole thing
Hmm.
or you could run as fast as you can. It doesn't matter. The point is sign up for something, commit to something, and then stay busy doing it because you're going to train for this race. I mean, you paid for it, it's on your calendar, you're looking forward to it. You're going to tell people about your goals, so you're not going to want to back out of it, right? It's going to inspire you and motivate you. And then once you do that 5K, I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to challenge you mentally and physically. And in recovery, we need to be challenged and pushed, and we need to stretch and learn and grow. And running and walking does that for you. So just sign up for a 5K, push yourself to reach your goal, and then sign up for another one. Just start
I'm gonna
doing these local runs. And when you get there, you're going to meet people, you're going to make new friends, you're going to get out in nature. I mean, it's going to open up your whole world. It'll change your life just signing up for a 5K.
I'm gonna put your the links in, but on the website or our Facebook page and on the website. But Recovery RoadRunners dot, is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
what if I join? Do you guys do you have goals? Do you have community? What am I gonna? What are the benefits of being in that group?
yeah. So if you join, you can then sign up for our virtual training program. So right now we're training for a 5K, 10K, or half marathon that we're doing on Halloween. So we're in the middle of an 8-week virtual training program, which I'm leading. I wrote the training program. We talk about strength training and yoga, and we inspire each other every day by posting our running selfies and talking about what's going on with our training. So we stay very, very connected and committed to each other, and we just inspire the hell out of each other, you know? And as part of the larger group, the 500 and something group, people come to that group with all sorts of questions and concerns, from what type of shoes are the best to like, what should I be eating for fuel for this race? Or, like, I'm struggling in my relationships right now. Like, who can relate? We talk about everything running and sobriety, and we just get each other. It's an amazing community. Everybody is supportive and friendly. It's small, so there's no like weirdos or meanies in there. We make sure of that. So it's a very safe space. So, and yeah, it's
And
just
for someone
exploded.
that's
I
just
mean,
starting out, you've got a program for the beginner
mhm.
to
Yep,
build up.
all levels. Yeah.
So
So
last question, because we're over the top, but when you were still drinking, you were running. So you
yes.
had a need, you still, even though you were running, you had a need that wasn't fulfilled, and we drank over it. Why are you running now? How are you filling that need? Because you were running before when you had the need. Now you're running. What are you doing to fill that? Or what has changed to fill the need? Or how have you addressed the need or eliminated it, I guess?
Well, I mean, I've always been in love with running, but now running for me is so much easier because I'm not hungover all the time. And now I see the joy in everything because, just getting outside in nature. And I mean, running gave me my life back. It gave me my energy back. And now I'm connecting with all of these people. I'm doing all of these races. I'm traveling here and there. I'm making new friends. I'm going to, my kids are getting older. They're 4 and 5. So now I'm taking them running with me. I mean, running just makes me feel good mentally and physically. And I can tell when I haven't run for a few days, my mood plummets. My body starts
Mm-hmm.
feeling stiff. I mean, running gives me my energy and my motivation to, go to work and take care of the kids. Like, it makes me physically strong and mentally strong to be able to handle raising 2 kids as a single mom, being a second grade teacher. I mean, it makes
I
me
think it also
sharp.
gives you some self-worth
Mhm.
and pride.
I mean, it all revolves around running. Like, running makes me feel confident
Yeah.
and strong and passionate about life. Like, it opens my whole world up. And without it, I would be in the gutter. I really would be. Just I don't know where I would be.
stay on. Don't hang up yet, but I want to thank you for joining us for Saturday. I will put all your links up. What is if someone and they can grab a pen real quick while I'm talking slow, wants to get a hold of you to get more information, what's the easiest way?
You can email me at recoveryroadrunners@gmail.com, or you can join the group on Facebook, Recovery Roadrunners. So those are the two ways you can get in touch with me.
recoveryroadrunners@gmail.com. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will talk to everyone. We'll be back Tuesday night. Maybe Dave Matthews is in town. I think if they're not COVIDing, we might go down to the river and listen. So I don't know what Tuesday night's going to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's always. So we're going to take the kids. And last time I got pulled over and I got away with it, and my knees shook for 3 days, and I had kids in the boat. That was not a lot of people know that, because the kids were older, they were over 21, but I was still I lied so well that the cops called me, thanks for being a sober skipper, and I had hidden and I got away with it. And my knees were shaking for days.
Yeah, that'll scare the hell out of you.
And I don't have to live that way anymore.
Thank God.
Can go down there and just.
It's total freedom.
It's total freedom.
It's a great feeling. Yeah. Thank you for having me on your show.
It's not what I get. I did this to give something up. I had no idea doing this was going to give me stuff. I thought I was going to lose things. I gained so much.
I couldn't agree more.
Gave it up. So
I know.
All right, well, hang in there. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you.